Approximately 7,000 kilometers to the southeast is a land known for its diverse culture, spices, and religion. A country branded by its emblem, the Taj Mahal. It's visited by millions of tourists each year, and once they are lured into the land of culture and Shah Rukh Khan, they become absorbed in its richness and beauty. From an outsider looking in, the everlasting beauty may be the only thing they see, but what lies underneath that silver lining is a landscape of atrocity, exploitation, and poverty. For many locals in Caldera, this was Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola Corporation is an American-based multinational corporation created in 1892. It is the largest beverage manufacturer and distributor in the world. It was created by a pharmacist, Dr. John S. Pemberton, and soon made its way to becoming a national hit after it was bought by a businessman named Asa Griggs Candler. Its breakthrough occurred during World War II, and the company went on to buy out many other beverage companies. The company addresses many of its business practices and furthers their belief in fighting for equity and justice in the world. Their most prominent business practices include water leadership, where they claim that they have returned more than 100% of expended water back into the environment since 2015. Another is that they want to take on the waste issue by targeting 100% recyclable packaging by 2025. And lastly, the care for communities, where they say that they empowered nearly 3.2 million women entrepreneurs and donated over $1 billion. To arm ourselves with the history of Coca-Cola in India, we must dig deep. The first interaction occurred when India opened the first Coca-Cola bottling plant in 1950 in New Delhi. But in 1977, after the government introduced the Indian Foreign Exchange Act, the company abandoned its operations. 16 years later, the company returned and restarted operations with the opening of a new production facility in Agra, the city home to the Taj Mahal. Thus, Coca-Cola has been playing a role in the Indian world for the past 27 years. However, one of the most prominent examples of Coca-Cola's intrusion into India's water-stressed regions was in Caldera. With a population of 13,000 people, Caldera's main method of sustenance relies heavily on local agriculture. Raw materials that come from the region are mainly agricultural products like wheat, barley, oilseed, sugar, etc. Water is scarce in the area, found at a depth of 30 to 60 meters below the ground. Caldera resides in the state of Rajasthan, the home of the Great Indian Desert. The state is governed by the state government of Rajasthan. Trees are rare and are found in small scattered forests in parts of the state. Rajasthan has a great mining sector in which gold, silver, sandstone, limestone, copper, and marble are all found. Given its varying sources of economic income, the state of Rajasthan has a GDP of around $140 billion. Moving on to the crux of the matter, the social inequities caused by the Coca-Cola Corporation to water-stressed regions of India are numerous.
The Coca-Cola Company took control of the limited water resources in Caldera, depleting it to a point where the village's primary sustenance became jeopardized. The company paints a picture of being a role model when it comes to corporate citizenship, but its facilities in India proved otherwise. As the facility in Caldera slowly choked away the basic human necessity from the village, the community was quick to realize the situation they had been forced into. The fundamental right of clean water became a marriage for the locals, and due to the lack of irrigation for crops, it also led to the reduction of the food supply. Combined with the harsh desert climate and the already low supply of water, Coca-Cola felt no shame in exploiting the area with its destructive and intensive water mining plants. Another impact caused by the plant was the complete devastation of the natural environment. Due to the lack of water, crops from all around the region began to die, and animals, whether owned or free, began to die of thirst as water resources were utterly dried out. Locals feel that the plant, with intensive water mining technology, would drain the already precarious water resources, turning the area into a dark zone, a region abandoned due to depleted water resources. Additionally, the water supply was contaminated by waste sludges excreted by the Coca-Cola plant, increasing the severity of the issue from water depletion to contamination of whatever water remained. Some samples of the sludge were analyzed by University of Exeter, and it was discovered that the sludge possessed high levels of lead and cadmium. Both substances are harmful to organisms, whether plants, animals, or humans. The political involvement in this entire situation only deteriorated matters. At the time, the ruling government party, the Congress Party, supported the Coca-Cola company, giving them utmost power and privilege to continue their work without having to deal with the government backlash. The community, on the other hand, was not willing to stand by and watch their resources be stripped away from them. The residents voiced their concerns against a plant, gaining the support of dozens of NGOs. They undoubtedly condemned the actions of Coca-Cola and support the closing of bottling plants as a result of water shortages. Soon enough, the movement gained traction, and the local associations rose against injustice and called for the cessation of the bottling plant. Protests and rallies were held, with marches to the bottling plants demanding for the indefinite closure of the bottling facility. Another aspect that was impacted by the consequences of water depletion was a negative effect on the local economy. The scantiness of water resources tormented the local economy, giving the people of Caldera major economic blows. As the main source of income in the region was from agriculture, the shortage of water supply forced the farmers into submission, unleashing a domino effect. The crisis inflicted most financial harm to farmers, thus families would become impoverished, businesses would collapse, and the economy would stoop to a major calamitous drop. Lastly, one of the main impacts was the direct health hazard and endangerment. The water resources that had been polluted were consumed as there was no readily available alternative. This led to many health-related issues in children and adults alike. For example, the children suffered neurological impairment, potential kidney or liver cancer, typhoid fever, and bloody diarrhea. One of the numerous victims of the man-made drought is Rameshwar Prasad Kudi. Kudi is a farmer, and after the catastrophe caused by the bottling plant, he took on his role as an activist, fighting for the rights of his fellow residents and farmers. In fact, 2009 was a breaking point for the village, as they were already suffering from a severe drought due to the lack of monsoon rain, which provides a majority of the water source. Kudi stated that the depleted water tables forced him and his fellow farmers away from relying on the groundwater to be used for irrigation, as it would deplete whatever amount of water they had left for the entire community to drink and use. With evidence and support in hand, Kudi advocated that it was the consequence of establishing a Coca-Cola bottling plant. However, Kudi did not give up his hopes of fighting for his essential right, and in 2016, the Caldera Coca-Cola plant was shut down indefinitely.